Everyone is teaching you Claude the chatter. I'm going to show you the Claude Agent SDK, the same model, but with tools, file access, and autonomous loops that run work while you sleep. If you've been copy-pasting prompts into a browser tab and calling that automation, this is the layer you're missing. Most tutorials stop at Ask Claude a question. I'll show you the 5 SDK primitives that power every production agent I ship for clients. Running 24/7 on a home server for cents a day. I'm Lazar, I build these systems daily at BizflowAI.io. Let's start with the one nobody explains properly, the query loop. Okay, primitive number 1, the query loop. This is the heartbeat of every agent you'll ever build with the SDK. In the chat app you type, Claude answers, you type again. That's a human in the loop. The SDK lets you replace the human with code. You call query, you pass a prompt, you get a stream of messages back. But here's the part people miss. Claude can decide to call a tool, get a result, think about it, call another tool, and only then answer. That whole back and forth happens inside one query call. You write 6 lines of Python and you've got an agent that can act, not just talk. The mental shift is this. Stop thinking, I'm asking Claude a question, and start thinking, I'm hiring a worker and giving them a task. That worker will keep going until the task is done or until you tell it to stop. For a small business, this is the difference between an AI that drafts an email for you to send and an AI that reads the inbox, decides which emails need replies, drafts them and queues them, all while you sleep. Same model, different wrapper. Primitive number 2, tool definitions. A tool is just a function you let Claude call. You describe it in plain English, name, what it does, what arguments it takes, and the SDK handles the rest. When Claude decides it needs to check Gmail, query your database, or run a shell command, it emits a tool use message. Your code executes the function, you pass the result back, and Claude continues. I'll give you the pattern I use for almost every client build. I define 3 categories of tools. Read tools. Fetch emails. Query the CRM. Read a file. Write tools. Send a reply. Create an invoice. Update a row. And escalate tools. Ping the owner on Telegram when something needs a human. That 3rd category is the one most people forget, and it's the reason their agents either spam customers or get stuck. Always give your agent a way to ask for help. For a small invoicing business I worked with, the tool list was literally 5 functions. Read unconue emails, extract unvoice unconue zikoradi, create unvoice unconue korajot, not for unga exception. That's it. Dat invoice unconija exception. That's it. 5 tools, 1 agent, 200 invoices a week, handled without a human touching the keyboard. Primitive number 3, system prompts as job descriptions. This is where most builds go wrong. People write a system prompt like they're chatting, "You are a helpful assistant that processes invoices." That's not a job description, that's a vibe. Write your system prompt the way you'd write a job posting for a contractor you'll never meet. Role. What is this agent? Inputs. What will arrive and in what format? Outputs. What does done look like? Rules. What must never happen? Escalation. When to stop and ask. I literally have a template I paste in for every new agent. The role section is 1 sentence. The rules section is usually the longest because rules are how you prevent the embarrassing failures. Don't send emails to addresses not in the approved list. Don't create invoices over a certain amount without confirmation. Don't reply in a language different from the incoming message. Treat the system prompt like an employee handbook, not a greeting. Primitive number 4, session memory and context compaction. Here's where long-running agents either survive or die. Every message, every tool call, every result piles into the context window. Run an agent for 2 hours and you'll blow past the limit. The agent slows down, costs spike, and quality drops. The SDK gives you 2 ways to handle this. The simple way is session resumption. You save the conversation, restart it later, pick up where you left off. The smarter way is context compaction. At checkpoints, you have the agent summarize what it's done so far, drop the raw tool outputs, and continue with a clean, compressed history. The pattern I use on overnight jobs: every 20 tool calls. Compact. Keep the system prompt. Keep the current task. Keep a 1-paragraph summary of progress. Throw away the rest. An agent that would have died after 30 minutes now runs for 6 hours on a few cents of a PI spend. For context, a typical client agent I ship runs around 40 invocations a day and costs roughly 18 cents in API. That's not a typo. The expensive part of automation was never the model. It was the developer time, and the SDK collapses that. Primitive number 5, and this is the one that changes everything. Subagent orchestration. One parent agent that spawns specialized children. The parent doesn't do the work. It decides what work needs doing and dispatches it. Think of it like a project manager. The parent reads a lead list, and for each lead it spawns a research agent with its own tools and its own context. The research agent does its job, returns a result, dies. The parent collects results, then spawns a drafting agent for the qualified ones. Then a sending agent. Each subagent has a tiny focused system prompt, a small tool set, and a short context. They're cheap, fast, and they fail in isolation. If one lead breaks, the other 49 still complete. This is the pattern behind every overnight run I deploy for lead gen clients. One orchestrator, dozens of disposable workers, results aggregated in the morning. You cannot build this with a chat UI. You can only build this with the SDK. Now let me show you what this looks like in practice. On my screen right now is a terminal running a parent agent. It just read 14 new emails from a client inbox. It classified them. 3 are invoices to process. 2 are support questions. 1 is a sales lead. The rest are noise. It spawned 3 subagents in parallel. The invoice subagent is already writing to the accounting system. The support subagent drafted 2 replies and queued them for review. The sales subagent enriched the lead and added it to the CRM. Total runtime about 90 seconds. Total cost well under 1 cent. This used to be somebody's entire morning. Now it's a cron job. That's the whole stack. Query loop, tools, system prompt as job description, context compaction, subagent orchestration. 5 primitives. Master those and you're past 95% of what the SDK can do. Everything else is decoration. If you want this built for you instead of building it yourself, that's exactly what we do. Head to BizflowAI.io to see real agent systems we've shipped for clients, invoicing, lead gen, inbox triage, all running autonomously. While you're here, hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next SDK breakdown lands in your feed. And if you've got a workflow eating 2 to 4 hours of your day, book a free 30-minute discovery call at BizflowAI.io. We'll map out what an agent version of it actually looks like. No pitch deck, just the build.